All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. This is episode, I think, number 9. We're almost to 10. I think we're close to 10 if we didn't hit it already. But anyway, we've been pretty consistent with this thing, man. We fell off about a week or so, but, you know, all of the protests and the COVID and all of, you know, we kind of got discombobulated there. But I think we've done a good job. I don't think that we might have missed one maybe. But
yeah, I mean, and you got to give us a break, guys. Come on. We both have other jobs. We're both organizing protests. Don't write a review of us saying that we don't do this regularly, please.
Right, we're definitely taking this serious, and we always talk about it like, man, we need to do this for the show. Or, man, we should have been catching it. So anyway, as we're going, we'll get better and have better content and stuff like that. But I think we did a good job, man. We got some stuff on the page, on the Just Cause Facebook page, inside the protest and stuff, man. We did some interviews, and we talked to some folks and just gave our perspective of what happened, man. So anyway, make sure you guys check out what's going on the Just Cause stuff, and check out the old videos if you weren't, on the Facebook page. We weren't able to get to the protest. We got a good inside look at a lot of them. We weren't there for all of them, but we were there for a good majority of the actions going on out there. So yeah, man, we appreciate all of the support we've gotten so far. We got some masks online for the COVID stuff with our logo on it, man. So
we'll share that link for everybody so they can get some masks, because the funds are going to. They're going to the Empowerment Solidarity Network, and they're splitting both between the Empowerment Solidarity Network and the Chinook Center. So, yeah, man, if you buy the Just Cause mask, you'll be helping us out and adding to the fund as well, man. So we appreciate it. Okay, do you have yours on you?
I had to wash it. It was I sweated that thing out yesterday, so it's in the wash. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have. If we were professionals, we would have had our masks on while we were talking about it. Mine's in my car, actually. So just imagine. It looks a lot like Sean's shirt.
Yeah, like this here. I went to Gen X and got me a shirt made before. I got a couple of them made yesterday before we started the action or whatever. So yeah, Gen X down there on the south side, they still take care. Man, when I was like 18, 19, somewhere in there, that's all I shopped at. I didn't even go to the mall, and then I got all my clothes out of Gen X there. But anyway, that's south side shit. Y'all know what that is.
South Academy, right?
South Academy and Hancock in there, right in there by the library. Yeah,
right.
Sand Creek Library. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So the dunce of the week, huh?
Yeah, let's start out with Dunce of the Week. So I don't know if people were down at the protests on, I don't even remember what day now. There's been so many. My mind is like turning to mush.
So today is Monday. Yeah, today's Friday. And we had an action on Thursday. So this was the Sunday before this. So last Sunday.
Right. Yeah, or no, Monday, because we had an action on Sunday after that Monday. So I think it was Monday, right?
Dang, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So anyway, the details probably don't matter too much. So if you were down there on, over the beginning of last week, I don't know, beginning of this week.
This week.
Yeah. So some armed guys came down to one of the protests, and they got some airtime at the protest itself. And a lot of people online were like, what is going on here? They put yellow tape on them, and they just kind of co-opted one of the protests. Because I think a lot of people were like, who are these people? That it wasn't clear who they were. Some of them were 3%ers, some of them were oath keepers, it seemed like. But the leader of them was this fellow, John Tiegan.
Tig
he goes by Tig, I guess, right?
Yeah, Benghazi man.
He's Benghazi. We got to respect him because he was in Benghazi.
Yeah, this guy was in Benghazi.
He will not be being hired as a merc anytime soon.
Sure won't be.
So apparently he's got some inside intel about where all the busloads of Antifa are going around the state. So
where they're camped out at, where they're sleeping at. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently Antifa has a deal with the local Hilton hotel chain, because they're staying in the Hiltons in downtown Greeley and the Hiltons in downtown Colorado Springs, according to Tig. So he came down to Colorado Springs to, I don't know, what was he doing? Was he protecting?
That's what he said, man. That's what he said.
So, yeah, well, let's just pull up some of his posts on his Facebook page, and you can kind of get a sense of the type of dude he is. Here, So Sean actually went and talked to him once he was at one of the protests. Him and his homeboys got up on the parking garage above the protest with their their scopes and their rifles and things, which I know I always feel like when people are above me with rifles, so I feel like they're protecting me, not targeting me. I don't know about you, Sean.
I felt very protected, man. It was great. I was so happy that they were perched over us with those rifles, with binoculars and talking about our what we were doing down there, what we were saying.
Yeah, but agitators
I guess
and all
they
this
were
stuff.
protecting us from Antifa. We needed protection from Antifa.
Yeah, which, I always say, if you're anti-Antifa, what does that make you? If Antifa just means anti-fascist, so if you're anti-Antifa, I guess that means you're pro-fascist.
Yeah, you're pro-fascist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here's what's
go ahead. No,
so
go
this
ahead.
is the intel. He won't ever say where he gets this intel that he got. The Antifa was in Greeley. They've been there since Monday. Their scouts are staying at the downtown Hilton. But then apparently they didn't show up to Greeley because, of course, it's just completely delusional crap.
Yeah, he just made it up.
He's just completely making stuff up. He said, "Oh no, they didn't come to Greeley. They actually ended up going to Denver." But apparently they decided at some point they needed to go down to Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And ruin things. But so a lot of people are like, I don't know, this guy seems like a racist militiaman to me.
That's what he seems like to me too. And he seems very manipulative, man. Totally. Speaking of manipulation, you pull that up. You want to tell that story there?
Yeah, so I was just kind of going through his Facebook page. A lot of people have been trying to figure this guy out. And this is the only crime that I noticed that he reported on. It was a crime committed by a young black man against a white elderly couple. And he's like, no rioting, no looting, no protest, barely a blip, as if, I guess people don't care about elderly white people killed by black people is what he's implying. Yeah. But I don't know why this seems like such an important crime to him if he's not a racist.
Right.
But
or
he just has to point out.
Live in Delaware.
Yeah, this isn't anywhere near him. Just
wanted to point that out.
Just wanted to point out that a black person somewhere killed some white people somewhere. So I don't know. You guys can make up your own mind as to whether or not you think he's racist, even though he's trying really. I always find that people who have to try really hard to convince people that they're not racist,
right,
are racist.
Yeah, they've done things pretty much to.
And then
they've done things to prove. And I want to flip through this guy's page and see what kind of whack shit he's talking about.
Yeah, he's got a lot of whack shit. I mean, there's just a lot of gold in here that you can use. So here's his video.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah.
Of him watching our protest, calling us instigators, so on and so forth. But Sean, do you want to still tell your story about what happened? So he was up there talking shit about us, and so Sean brought a crew of folks up there, right?
Right. Well, I didn't know what he was saying. We didn't know that he was recording this, or I think he was live on this Facebook stream. I don't know. But anyway, we saw them, and we know they. By the time we started talking to them, we knew they were there, and we knew that they were the only ones in the building. We had went up to the third floor of the building to see if they were, had people all through the building or whatnot. We realized that they were just on the rooftops. So anyway, I went up there, man, because it just pissed me off. It didn't make sense to me that they were doing that and they were trying to scare us. So, I just felt like, well, if we let them feel like we're scared, then they'll feel like they accomplished something. So, me being myself, I just went up there. I didn't ask anybody to come. This is what we're going to talk about some of the community and solidarity that's been showing throughout these protests. But an example of that is when I went up there, man, and I started walking, and about maybe 8 or 9 guys followed me up. I didn't say anything to them, but they knew I was going, so they went with me. And we talked to them, man. When we got up there, they were running around trying to figure out what was going on. You know what I'm saying? They were completely shocked that we walked our ass up there to come see what the hell they were doing.
I thought they were professionals, though,
Right, yeah. Well, they're definitely not, man. And here's the thing. So say this guy is legit and he's whatever he's doing, he's doing. The people that he was associating himself with was absolutely ridiculous. Like, there was the group of people that he was carrying guns around with, I would never walk around carrying guns and doing those things with. You know what I'm saying? So It was pretty ridiculous on all fronts. So when I asked him, I said, hey, who are you? He says, hi, my name is Tig, whatever, Benghazi, something. And I'm like,
Here's
what?
the video of you guys coming up, by the way. He's shooting you guys coming up right there, it looks like.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, we mobbed up there, man. But so anyway, when we got up there, he wanted to introduce himself. And I didn't, I was like, okay, great. So what are you doing? Why are you here? I wish I didn't watch the rest of this video. I wish I would have heard what they said. As they saw us coming up, they were scampering, man. But anyway, when we got up there, he didn't want to tell us what group he was from, like why they were videotaping and doing these things. He told us the same thing. No, man. I guess I don't think he said Antifa. At first, he said that the cops called him and asked him to come up there. And I made it seem like I was recording on my phone, so I held my phone up like this, just to. So you saying the cops? And he was like, "But listen, man, Antifa, they came and they did all of this stuff. So when the police started shooting rubber bullets, we're going to talk about the police committed violence on the people, during the protests earlier on, and things like this. So he blamed this on Antifa, and that was the reason why people were getting rubber bullets and things of this nature. So we called bullshit, man. And I just, basically told him, man, hey, you don't hover over me with guns. If you want to shoot, then let's shoot. If you're gonna shoot, then shoot. You know what I mean? If not, then get the fuck out of my face and stop with this. You're not scaring us, man. So we were prepared on yesterday at our action for them to be there, and they weren't there. They sent there was one black guy there, and he did come, but he didn't bring his big rifle. He had a machete on his back.
Oh yeah, Dwayne. I think he's been there for many days, actually.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen him there, and it's fine. Whatever, man. I don't give a shit. I would much prefer for people to come like in my face and tell me, hey, I hate you, or I don't like what you're doing, or whatever, than to try to subversive, stuff that our city government is doing, that the police here are doing, and that these fringe groups that are whatever, I don't know what they're doing, whatever they're doing, that they're doing that shit too. So it really taught me a lesson in organization and the importance of real community. I want to say like galvanizing together. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like the real people that are really doing the real work to be able to work together and make these things move at the same time. Because that, man, I don't know. I guess what I want to get at is that when Devon Bailey died, we didn't have this in the city. You know what I'm saying? It was a damn struggle. So, we did get big crowds out to our rallies and stuff like that, but it was like K-Land, and it wasn't like the entire city came out for, it was not that. So, I'm still kind of like, okay, it was for the pictures and for the, for the social media stuff, City Council was already on this path to creating this advisory board that they talked about yesterday. Moving the meeting up to our protest time was kind of like, just shows how, their disconnection and, how out of touch they are with the city that they're overseeing. That was a point that I'll let you talk real quick, man. Inside, I think am I moving too fast, man?
Yeah, let's go back to it. I actually wanted to make a point too, just finishing up on the Dunce of the Week. The irony, I think, is this guy, he was pretending like he was coming to protect us from outsiders. Yeah. But, like, they were mostly all outsiders. The people who were coming there, like, they're not from here. They're not a part of the movement. They don't know anybody. And I think your point about, like, galvanizing a community, like, the community being galvanized sort of and coming together was, like, spot on, because that's exactly what's happened. Yeah. Like, his presence really showed how much our community was like, no, sorry, we don't need you.
Right.
And so we sort of, like, pushed him out. But, so anyway, I don't know, follow him online if you want to get a kick out of, like, if you want to see, like, the delusional right wing in this country who believes that there's, like, busloads of Antifa driving from city to city. And,
man, he's got 63,000 followers on his page, man.
Yeah. I think he's like
1,000. That should be criminal.
I'm hoping to God he's like just like a performance artist and he's just fucking with people to see how far he can get people to go. But I think he's real.
Dude. Goodness, all right, man.
So actually, you started talking about some of the protests that were happening, and that's what we wanted to do since we've been at several of the protests. Obviously, we both have jobs, so we can't get out to all of them. But we we were out on Saturday, the first day of the protest, and I think between us, we've been, I don't know, maybe to a majority of the protests, both day and night, throughout the course of the week. And we wanted to reflect on some of those protests. I think both as activists ourselves, like people who've been doing this for like longer than the past week and a half or 2 weeks, right. Which a lot of these people have not been doing it
right.
Longer than that. And just what we've been seeing and stuff. So did you want to start talking about that, or do you want me to?
I can start. What I've noticed is, again, I did talk about the contrast in things that happen in the city and things that happen nationally, and I think it's the will to be the want to be a part of something big. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which is like, it's great. I gives a shit that it took this long. I'm happy that it's happening. You know what I'm saying? But I really I feel like people should take note of that. Like, oh man, dude, if while we're doing this self-reflection and checking ourselves, like, man, I didn't pay attention to that, and I knew about it, or whatever it was that might have happened. So anyway, so that's part of that growth and development inside of this movement that's going on in the spring. And the thing about it is the power behind it. I think what we accomplished with Devon, with the murder of Devon Bailey and the movement behind it, we're seeing the results of that. I think kind of like, they're like, oh man, I saw that shit before. Maybe that's some of that, like, man, I'm going out there this time. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that too. So,
I agree.
And then once I'm out there, and you brought this to my attention, is like, it was just so much love. You know what I mean? Everybody who's there for that thing is like completely against the anti-protesting and stuff. There was, to the point that there was one day, I think this is one day that we went separately. There was a guy, they were doing their stuff on the front steps, and there was a guy with a megaphone, and he was preaching into this megaphone. So the guy, they were organizing their stuff, doing their thing, and this guy just starts blurting with this megaphone. And I mean, he was preaching, he Christian and stuff, but everybody was like, shut that shit up. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was like, shut up. I felt bad for him because he felt stupid. I think he thought he was doing something good or whatever, because he didn't have much conviction. He shut up. As soon as those couple hundred people ran his ass out of there, it reminded me of the Sandman on the Apollo, man. But anyway, yeah, so what have you noticed, man?
I mean, I just, one thing I noticed, everybody's been talking about, obviously, the protests over the last 2 weeks, and you and I were both out on Saturday, the very first day of the protests, and both of us went out at different points on Saturday night. We were missed each other. But, even that first night, which was the most quote unquote violent night, on Saturday night, when people attacked the police station with rocks and attacked the courthouse with rocks. Yeah. Even that night, because I went out because I heard you were out there, and I was like, oh shit, Sean's out there, and another one of my comrades was out there. And so I grabbed some water and some goggles and shit, and I'm like, I better go out there and just make sure everybody's okay. And I was sort of like, geez, people are fine. People were having a great time, and they're having a great time fighting the cops. Yeah. And the cops just kept launching tear gas canister after tear gas canister, pepper balls. They used that acoustic device. It's like, woo, 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 woo. Yeah. And nothing was working. People were like, what are you gonna do? And everybody was just having a good time. And everybody, when the tear gas canister was come, they'd be like, hey, are you okay? Did you need some water in your eyes and all this stuff? Everybody was really cool with one another. And they weren't destroying shit randomly. They were right. Once we got pushed really far back from the police station, people ran over to the courthouse and just were like, here's a symbol of oppression in our community. Let's attack it.
Go ahead and break that shit up. Yeah, they broke the windows up.
When the police came, there's that. So just so everybody knows, when you're out there, keep an eye out for a silver SUV with a black under chassis, because they are they just come through and they do drive-by gassings. They don't say that they're police. They don't make any warning whatsoever. When we were over by the courthouse, they came by and they dropped 3 tear gas canisters, 1, 2, 3, without, I didn't even know it was the police, you know what I'm saying? They gassed a little kid. So I just wanted to comment on, I haven't really seen any violence in Colorado Springs except from the police.
From the police, right.
there's been so many videos too of the police violence that's happening against the protesters. And we've been running this protest support fund, and we're getting reports back that almost every single person is reporting some degree of brutality from the police in their arrest. So, you know, what I've seen is a contrast from the police, who are just like, especially early on, were reacting so aggressively to really not much property destruction.
They were reacting to the national story. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
They were like, oh, not here. We're going to beat y'all ass before that.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, they're like Trump, you know, we have to dominate them.
Right. That's Niski. That's Niski's fucking leadership, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. In the last year, how many times have the riot cops been called out in Colorado Springs? Like, I can't even count at this point.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. Yeah. And they're little armored vehicles and all this shit. Like, it's ridiculous to quell, like, some sort of civil insurgency.
Yeah.
But in contrast, the rest of the community has just been so beautiful. You talked about that. Like, everywhere you go around the protest, people are like, hey, do you need something to eat? Do you need a snack? Are you thirsty? Do you need some water? Volunteers have been bringing down water and snacks every single day. There's like 3 different funds for the people that have been hit by people in their cars, people that have been arrested, people that need food and water and stuff like this. There's just been like an outpouring of love and support in the community as a result. And it's like, it's something I've never really seen in Colorado Springs. And it's like pretty beautiful.
I was going to ask you, is there anything to compare it to that you've seen before? Yeah, nothing.
No, I mean, the closest that it reminds me of is the Occupy movement. So I was living in Boston during the Occupy movement. And this is actually even more community level love, I think, than the Occupy movement. And it's just like, people just want to help each other. And I was telling my friend the other day, because we were walking back to my car, and some women were like, hey, you guys need a snack? And I was like, no, but thanks, you know, like, and I appreciate that. Yeah, but I was like, this is why I'm addicted to protests, I think, because people really like become much closer emotionally, I think, in these times, these like sort of crisis times, you know, and we really like, we understand our human connection with one another, and we want to take care of one another.
Yeah, I agree. That we saw that yesterday with Charles, man. You know, it just shows another example of the disconnect that our city council has with the city. The guy, was it Gabler, walked out?
David Geislinger.
Yeah, walked outside and is gonna connect with the people, I guess, you know. And I don't know what the hell he said to Charles, man, but he pissed that young man off. And you know, I was like, okay, let him get it off. You know what I'm saying? And like, but I didn't know what he was down there to do or what he was down there to say. You know, we didn't hear what he said. So anyway, the gist of it is like, even that emotion that you saw from him, because that kid, he's been out there the whole time, man. You know, like,
I mean, he was out there.
Some his pictures on there, you know what I mean? He's out there leading the crowd or whatever. And I got to give him, man, that kid, he led that group yesterday like a you know what I'm saying, a seasoned vet, man. You know, once you ran out of breath, and I was like trying to figure out what the hell I was doing and shit, you know what I mean? Like, he took over and like he led that whole crowd, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, congratulations to him, man. I hit him up last night, you know, we talked about it. So, but you know, the emotional connection that you get with this stuff requires you to like back away every now and then. You know, we call it self-care a little bit, you know, where you gotta like just disconnect from it a little bit, you know what I mean? So anyway, I agree with the emotional like connection that you feel with people, and it's like you can feel it like you're tired afterwards, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe that's what they feel in church when they go to church. Yeah,
maybe we should become religious. I don't know.
Man. But anyway, all of the violence has come from the cops, man. I've seen people's heads split open, bleeding from bullets. This guy, I think it was one of Sam's students, said he was behind a bus stop, and the only thing showing was his head, and the cop shot him in his damn head, man.
Yeah, man, we should show the picture actually, but yeah, he's like bleeding from the head.
Yeah.
And so, it's hard too, I think, for Sam, because it's like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, because, you know, he was a former student of Sam's, and you have this thing where you're like, they're not your kids really, but you kind of have this sense of like protection over them, you know,
connected to them,
yeah, totally. So I think it was like, oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah, that's some bullshit. I know that pissed me off, man. There's another video of the cops arresting the guy. They were beating his ass, man. They were whooping him. So if whoever that guy was or woman was, that was on the floor there, I know that the video circulating, man. You know, we might be able to figure something out with that, man, and figure out why he punched like that by multiple people.
Yeah, if you're out there and you're watching, get a hold of us. We'd like to talk to you about it, actually. Not in any way that's like gonna, you know, if you're bringing a lawsuit, but we need to get more of these stories out.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know, there was some reports of live fire and a young black kid getting hit, but I haven't really actually heard any confirmed reports of that. But somebody was being dragged out in a video, bleeding from the demonstration on, I want to say, Sunday night.
Oh, man.
Last Sunday. So, I mean, these just need to get out. The police have responded with so much violence.
Yeah.
It's been outrageous.
Listen, you know, I just had an idea. If you got a video, post it on our page, man.
Yes.
And tag it. Let us know that it's there, so we can have it, man, and kind of go through this stuff and see what we could put together with these cops. We figure out who they were. You know, when they kill somebody, they get a sense of, like, you know, it's like a bash for them. You know, like when gangsters get the tear, like the cops,
they
get the same thing. Like, you know, they get this whatever. So more than likely, one of those cops that did that shit might have shot somebody in real life before, you know, or with a real bullet before and whatnot. So, you know, we need to tie these things together if we can as a community and kind of
exactly
share our information that we got. So yeah, put those videos on our page, man.
That'd be great if you guys, any videos of any police violence over the last 2 weeks, we welcome, so we can get out there. And, you know, I have a sense that the cops who join the riot squad, I don't think are the ones that are like the more sympathetic folks. I think if you're joining the riot squad, you're probably like eager to bust heads. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I'm sure that's how they put it off too. Like, you know, those are the tough guys or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're all like, you know, like macho dudes with sleeves and stuff. And you're like, we don't need that shit out on the streets right now.
We don't need it at all. It's like we need that when they're fucking killing us. That's what we need. Like,
exactly.
Get those tough guys to go police them dudes up, man.
Yeah, police them.
But yeah, so anyway, in a response to all of that violence and the Minutemen or whoever or the militiamen or whatever, the yellow tapers, I'm not sure.
I don't know what to call them either. Like LARPers, that's what I call them. But
yeah, Stephanie Rose gave me a call. Was that Sunday morning? This past Sunday morning.
Right, yeah.
And she was like, "Look, I'm not having it." She was hot about that shit, man. And so she said, you know, we called it just an impromptu rally, and we called for 100 black men to be on the steps of City Hall, and it turned out to be a whole lot more than that, and a whole lot more people than we expected to be there or whatnot. But yes, that was fantastic, you know, and that was actually the event that we ran into Tiegan on the roof. That's when,
that's right, yeah.
He was overlooking, he was protecting all of us from Antifa.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wasn't, because we made clear, I mean, Stephanie made clear in her call that, like, she didn't want white people with guns at that event. Yeah. Because that was kind of the thing. It's like, I think she explicitly said in her video, like, we don't need white guys with guns watching over us.
Right.
And still, 2 white guys with guns showed up, and, like, we had to, like, try and get rid of them. And one of them was actually one of the people that was up on the roof. He left the crowd and went up on the roof after that. But
yeah, he got ran out of there. But so anyway, what happened was that you know, it felt great to know that we could, like, just in one day say, "Hey, y'all, come on!" And the community showed up, man. It felt like all of K-Land was there, man. It was great. And then again on Thursday they showed up again, man. So yeah, man. I guess that's pretty much what I took from that. You know, it was just like a time together. Stephanie went in, man. My Black Colorado did a whole nice like package of photos and videos and things like that of the whole event. And they documented it for us and for her and for themselves too, but for the city really. And because that's what it was. We
should post that on our page. Actually, we'll do that, right?
Yeah, we'll put that up there. I think I might have shared a few things, but yeah, we'll make sure we put the whole thing on there. But anyway, yeah. So back to that community and solidarity, you know, it showed again and over and over and over. You know, people were able to tap into it. So yeah, man, I'm hoping that we'll be able to flip this thing into getting some policy, you know, switched up and put into our favor, man. And moving into the election season or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many people that are just like so committed right now. Yeah, Thursday's funeral procession event, which I gotta say was like a great event. And I'm not just stroking our own ego. I mean, maybe I'm doing that too, but the press loved it. They were eating out of our hands, I felt like. But we had so many people who were willing to take a risk, and to watch the whole community cross over those police barricades in front of the police station, the POC, and then just go gather again, where, you know, the news actually pointed this out to me. I guess there hadn't been any demonstrations down at the police station since I think the curfew went into place.
Oh, okay.
So that Thursday funeral procession was the first one after that. And so many people are like, this was so powerful. And I'm like, that's exactly right. I mean, people need to feel empowered again in the community. And I think that city council was worried yesterday. So city council put their work session at the exact same time as our funeral procession. But that didn't stop Sean from going in, right?
Nah, man, we got our ass up in there.
So I'm curious, what'd you get on the inside up there anyway?
So we got up in there, and it was basically, you know, so the team that went out to Austin to you know, do the review with the way that they're running their community oversight, they were there, and then there was another group that was supposed to be representing another part of the community. You know, the city council laid out all of the points and or I guess the standards that the advisory board would act under, and all of the restrictions that they would have and wouldn't have or whatnot. And it was just unacceptable, you know, and to everybody up there, I thought they were going to be in agreement with this and working with city council. And I was completely shocked to see that was not the case at all. Right. There was no support for it. And I think I meant to look this guy's name up. I owe you guys who he was, but I want to say he's in charge. He's the president of, oh man, I can't remember. It's something to do with the businesses in Colorado Springs. I don't want to say it's I got the Better Business Bureau on my
the
tongue.
Chamber of Commerce?
Chamber of Commerce, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, and this guy, he's saying that, hey, this community oversight is good for business in the city. Like, having cops killing people in our city is not good for business. And all of the business owners here need to get behind this thing. So I was like, oh shit. Okay, all right. So I sat back for a minute, like, you know, and then the whole time I hear the protest outside, and you guys are going, oh, Black Lives Matter. And they had to turn the speakers up because they, you know, it was like you couldn't hear what they were saying over over the chant. It was fucking perfect, man. I got some of this stuff on video, but I was really just trying to make sure I paid attention to what Scorman was saying and, you know, all of that shit. So anyway, Promise got up, and he was the first one to have it, you know, to be able to speak. And he told him they're full of shit, you know, in Promise's way. You know, he's a preacher, man. He's you know, he puts his words together pretty well. You know what I'm saying? He's like really good with that shit, man. And you know, he basically told him, like, you know, you guys are trying to put a Band-Aid on this issue, and you didn't listen to the community. None of these things that you're laid out is what the community asked for.
Yeah.
And this is not gonna cut it. So in so many words, and again, I got his whole speech on thing. We'll put it up on the page here this afternoon. But and he was like, "That's it, man. Let's go." And I walked out with him. So, you know, I didn't get a chance to raise hell, man. You know, it was kind of like the mayor was in there. I felt it. You know me, man. I got it in me, dude. I could do it, man. But I didn't want to mess up any of the efforts that other people had to, like, just tell them we're not gonna. And they said they weren't gonna do it. So. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's cool. That was Deb and Jody and God, man, I can't remember the dude's name. But anyway, I'll come back and post his name of the guy that was
over the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, that's what happened, man. And we walked out, you know, and we started the procession or whatnot. So I think that what happened was city council. They looked pretty damn stupid, you know, and it just looked like they just had no clue. Like, you know, we just threw them for a complete loop. And, you know, I credit to, I don't know, I want to say Jody, but I don't know who was with, like, leading that group up there. Deb Walker was up there too. But credit to them because, you know, they were like, get out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? So I was happy to hear it. And I didn't want to, like, mess up whatever they did. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of just walked on out of there.
Yeah. Well, the mayor, you know, the mayor was watching. You were waiting for some shit, you know?
Yeah. It would have been great, man, you know, hindsight, I think that we could have brought the crowd up there, man. You know, I think that, you know, there was a chance for us to, you know, we had things in place that we would have been able to get around the barricade or whatnot. We just didn't do it. And we just didn't. So,
you know, if they don't listen to us, we just keep escalating, which they're not doing. I mean,
they got these little glass things. I was like, man, we could throw something and splash it on the glass. Like, it wouldn't be like a violent thing because it's glass. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't hurt them. So, like, whatever, man. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of shit that I was thinking about. And they deserve it, man. It's not like just to be an asshole. Like, dude, how many people have to come and say these things to you and you just fucking ignore it, man?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me that they feel that we shouldn't be upset, that Charles shouldn't have been in his face like that. Of course he fucking should.
Exactly.
Man. Like,
well, I think what's maddening too is, like, you know, this was a closed session. Like, this wasn't open to the public for some fucking reason. Right. It was just like a select few people. And then, you know, I mean, they could have all come out and talked to us, to be perfectly honest. Like, not just Geislinger. But we have been to city council meetings. And they, you know, last summer, we were at city council meetings. They've been ignoring people for nearly a year now. And so to pretend like, you know, we're not playing the game or something, I think is ridiculous. And I emailed Richard Scorman a few days ago, putting forth our community demands and asking him, like, for his support. And, you know, I mentioned that I've talked to you on several occasions about, you know, police violence. And I know that you were in support of an independent review in the Devon Bailey case. He didn't email me back. He didn't say, like, hey, you know, if you're interested in this, maybe you should come to our closed meeting. He wanted us, I don't know about him, but the mayor for sure, and the chief of police wanted a specific group of people there that were calling for actually a completely useless advisory board. Did you see the mayor on the TV last night praising this advisory board that basically does absolutely nothing? And that's what I fear is going to happen. They're going to put in an advisory board. What the fuck is even that?
Right.
That's
what I said. They're going to advise. The city council is an advisory board.
Exactly. They're going
to advise city council you can't do shit anyway. So
exactly. And Southers was already on TV saying, like, well, we can't give them all the information about officer misconduct or whatever. We would just have to give them select information. That's fucking useless. That's what's already happening. And, you know, the city already has community advisory boards that are basically just like PR panels for different neighborhoods. So, I mean, this is what the city's been doing, is they've been trying to play different groups against each other. The police have been doing this. The city council's been doing this. The mayor has been doing this. And I think it's important for us to notice that. It's like, look, they're trying to play like, we're going to trust this group. The mayor even said last night on TV, like, some elements in the community don't want to be productive. And it's like, fuck you, man. We've been working on this trying to be productive, but you're saying, like, all of these things are off the table before I even begin to negotiate with you. Yeah. And it's like, you can't take things off the table in a negotiation. Like, you know what? No. If you're going to take things off the table, we're going to take peaceful protest off the table too. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's well put. And that's exactly how we thought. I think that's the first time we've heard that you said that. But that's exactly how we look at it. Like, man, okay, so now we got to turn this shit up and do something. Like, it shouldn't take that, man. It just shouldn't take that. Like, we are responsible adults in this community paying taxes. Like, you should talk to us about this. And we have, like, a feasible and suitable solution to things to a real problem. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no reason to be ignoring us. None at all. But it's just like what you're going to do because that's what you want to do. You know
exactly. And if you look at cities all across the country right now, they're doing so many things. The Denver schools just got rid of police officers in their schools.
Yeah, that's big, right?
Yeah, exactly. They just dropped all the charges.
We thought about that too. We need, like, we said that in a few of our meetings, like, man, we need to get these damn cops out of our school. Yeah. I mean, out of our school, man. But anyway, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
What
no,
else
yeah,
have you seen
exactly.
happen?
Disrupt the whole school to prison pipeline. I'm like, because it's not
Yeah,
just the police department that's the problem. I mean, we know fucking racism is systemic throughout society, so we
right.
need to start hitting all those points. But Southers and Niski just like completely refuse to talk to people. And it's like, what options do you think are going to be left if you
Yeah,
take things off of the table? And like, I
right.
guess whatever, this is a warning to Southers right now. Like, if you're taking shit off the table, then we take shit off the table too. You know what I'm saying?
Period. That's the damn truth about it, man. And we don't want to. Like, we really just
Yeah.
want to.
I would like to go camping this summer.
Yeah, like be able to do stuff and hang out, man, or whatever, man, and just like say, oh man, we got some shit accomplished and we worked with our city government and got it done. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would hope
exactly.
happen.
Yep, but I mean, they're like, I'm playing fucking stupid games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. Southers is a cop essentially, so what do we expect
Right.
from it?
That is exactly what that dude is, man. And what is he gonna do after this, man? That's why I'm like, I hate to know that he's like advancing his career and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a complete failure, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be like motherfuckers shouldn't take you serious, but they will.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They will.
I mean, just look at too. I mean, the amount of like civil unrest that's happened in Colorado Springs since he's been mayor.
Yeah.
Is outrageous. You know, like there's been like I said, how many times have the riot police been called out under his watch and under Niski's watch?
That's a good stat. That's something good to look up. I wonder. That's a good way to kind of get a feel for the mayor's relationship with the city. Is how many protests have you had, and you know what I mean? How many times have you had to put your riot police out? You know what I mean? That might be a good read. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, this is what I was saying yesterday. The fact that the police station and for a while the courthouse were barricaded off from the community, like that's what they used to have to do back in the colonial days, is like fortify their outposts because they were so unpopular with the natives.
Right. Yeah, colonial outposts.
Yeah, that's what the cities across America feel like right now, is that police stations are fucking colonial outposts that are basically using force to keep the population in line because the population doesn't believe in their authority anymore.
Yeah. Man, dude, that is, you're right. That's a good analysis too. I hadn't looked at it that way, but that's exactly what it is, man. Like it's not like that's like apples to apples comparison, man.
Yeah, and like people, and the fact that there were so many just like, dude, I'd never seen a lot of these protesters out before, and a lot of the people out there that night fighting the cops, they're just like, I want to go out and fight the cops, probably for very good reason.
Right.
I think so many people in Colorado Springs and across the country have so many reasons that they're pissed off and want to go fight the cops.
And would go do that shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And like, just that one thing, man. If the police station starts burning, then it might bring 10 more people down there. And then that courthouse might start burning. It bring 10 more people down. And that, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't see anything wrong. I mean, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with burning the police station or courthouse. I don't see anything.
I mean,
as long as nobody's
doing what they're doing,
right, man. Like, as long as nobody's in it or whatever, you're blowing people up and shit is weird. Like, I'm not that weird shit. I don't agree with, but like the thought of doing that, I think, is what's needed, bro. It makes them act. Look, we haven't gotten any reaction from them from anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the best that they've given us is barricades in an advisory committee. You know what I mean? That's the shit that pisses me off. It makes me like, I want to start looking into more shit and getting started on my next whatever the fuck we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And like,
yeah, totally.
Try to get closer to it, man. Just try to get closer to it.
Well, and it was super real for me yesterday at the Thursday funeral procession, because I just wanted to bring this up. There were family members of 5 different people who've been killed by police in the Pikes Peak region down there. And like, it was just like, dude, I seriously almost lost it, because it's like these family members are out there because their family members have been killed by the police.
Yeah,
and it's like people have had it and they're sick to death of the fact that like city leadership doesn't seem to be taking this seriously. And like, it's really fucking insulting too that they're all out there, in the streets being like, hey, will you listen to us? And they're fucking up there in city hall chambers,
right? Ignoring
themselves,
Yeah. That was ridiculous, man. When I saw Josh Vihill's wife carrying his urn, and Oh man, dude, yeah, that was
And David Page's mom was there with his urn.
David Page's mom was with him, and then of course Melvin, Jeffrey Melvin was there. He spoke, and like, man, just that's real, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that was their fucking kids and their husband, like, it's not no game like to come out and like, hell no, we won't go. No, it wasn't that. It was not
exactly.
that, man. It was like a real emotion, man. You know what I'm saying? And these people did that shit to them. And after they did it, like, treated them like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, treated those families like dog shit. So that's why they're pissed off, and that's why they supported what we were doing and want us to keep going. And they were so happy when we crossed that barricade at the police station, man. They were happy about that.
But Desmond Hayes' partner spoke there too.
Desmond Hayes, yeah.
And she talked about how her kid was afraid to go to the police station. Like, that should fucking tell you guys something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this little kids are basically taught from 1 year old to like love the police. But like her little kid who was black was like, I don't know if I want to go across the barricade because they were so scared to death of the police.
Yeah, they didn't want to cut. Even with all those people there, they still didn't want to do it. They were like, hell no. Them motherfuckers killed my daddy.
Yep. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, so on that note, that's why we need to keep fighting, right? I mean, we need to be in their faces all the time, being like, this is fucking real shit.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, man. It's real, dog. All right, man.
Yeah, on that note, I'm sorry, everybody, but it is like real shit we're dealing with.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Love y'all.
Cool. Peace.